Hello everyone, welcome back to online classes. So today in this video we will discuss about the metals and non-metals. So here we'll firstly know about the different physical properties of metals, then what are non-metals, and also the difference between the metals and non-metals. Now let's learn about it. So you see in the picture, here are some of the different metals and some different non-metals. Now let's know about the physical properties of metals. So metals are hard except sodium and potassium. So this sodium and potassium, these are soft metals, okay, but all metals are hard. Next, metals are mostly solid except mercury and gallium. So all metals are mostly solid. So this mercury and gallium, these are exceptional, that though these are metals, so in the room temperatures you see this mercury and gallium, they become the liquid. Next is metals are shiny or lustrous in appearance. So you see here gold and silver. So this gold and silver, it is shiny, yes or no? So this, we make ornaments from gold and silver. So whatever the ornaments we wear from of gold or silver, it is to shine. So these metals have shiny appearance. Next is metals are beaten into thin sheets. So these metals, it can be made into thin sheets. So you see here the first one is the copper sheets, and in the next you see next figure, it is the gold sheets. So these metals, it can be beaten into thin sheets, and this property of the metals, it is known as the malleability. So what is malleability? So malleability, it is the property of metals by which they can be beaten into thin sheets. Next is metals are drawn into thin wires. So you see in the picture, the first one is the copper wire and the next is the aluminum wire. So these metals, it can be drawn into thin wires, and this property of the metals, it is known as the ductility. So ductility means what? Ductility, it is the property of the metals by which they can be drawn into thin wires. So we got here two important terms, that is the first one is the malleability and next is the ductility. Another property of metal is that metal conduct heat and electricity. So these metals, these are the very good conductors of heat and electricity. So in the figure you could see that in the first figure you see, it is an electric circuit, and in that circuit the pencil is put. So you see the pencil, it is made of wood, so it do not conduct the electricity. But in the next figure you see, in the electric circuit, instead of the pencil, the metal is used. So, and you see in the picture, the light has been glown. So you see, it shows that the metals are good conductor of electricity, and the wood is not a good conductor of electricity. That is why whenever we get electric shock, or sometimes we get electric shock, so in that time the wooden object is used to break the electric shock. Next property is that metals are sonorous. So you see, in the religious places we used to go there and we used to put the bell, it makes a sound, okay, tang. So that sound is produced for what? Because that bells are made of metals, and this shows that metals are sonorous. Okay, they make sound, that is the sound that is the tongue, that sound, it is the sonorous. Next is the metals have high melting point. So these metals, it has a very high melting point. It can be melt. You see in the picture how the metal, it is melt. It has a very high or very strong melting point. But except gallium. The gallium, it has the low melting point. But other than gallium, all metals have high melting point. Now, let us know about the non-metals. So non-metals are what? Non-metals are the materials that do not exhibit the properties such as the lustrous, then malleability, ductility, sonorous, and also they are the bad conductors of heat and electricity. So here you see in the picture, here these are the different non-metals. So carbon, sulfur, phosphorus. So these are some of the examples of the non-metals. Now let's know about the difference between the metals and non-metals. So we already know the things, what is lustrous, hardness, malleability, ductility. We all know these things. Now we'll just know the differences. So metals, these are lustrous, but non-metals are non-lustrous, means they don't have any shiny appearance. Then metals are hard, okay, but non-metals are soft. Then metals are malleable. Malleable means they can be beaten into thin sheets, but non-metals are non-malleable, so this cannot be beaten into thin sheets. Then metals are mostly ductile. So metal, it can be drawn into thin wires, means that is the ductility. That property is ductility. And in non-metals, it cannot be drawn into thin wires, so they are non-ductile. Then metals, they are the good conductors of heat, but non-metals, these are poor conductors of heat. Then in electricity, we all know that metals are good conductor of electricity, but non-metals, these are poor conductor of electricity. Then the last one is the sonorous. So metals are sonorous, that means it make sound, okay, but the non-metals, these are non-sonorous. So in this part we have discussed about the different physical properties of metals and also about the non-metals, and last we have know about the difference between the metals and non-metals.